Good evening, it's Wednesday, 23rd February 2022. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business and economic with me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. A series of marketplaces are included in the list of companies monitored by the U.S. government for allegedly selling counterfeit or pirated goods. The list includes 3 familiar marketplaces in Indonesia, namely Tokopedia, Bukalapak, and Shopee.
A series of marketplaces are included in the Notorious Markets List 2021, or a list of companies monitored by the U.S. government for allegedly selling counterfeit or pirated goods. The list includes 3 familiar marketplaces in Indonesia, namely Tokopedia and Bukalapak. In addition, Shopee is also listed, a popular marketplace in Indonesia originating from Singapore. In the full Notorious Markets List 2021 document, it is explained that Tokopedia is a third-party vendor platform that sells various goods from clothing, electronics to books, where many rights owners report high prices and volumes of counterfeit clothing, fake cosmetics and accessories, pirated textbooks, and other pirated English material on this platform. A similar explanation was also written for Bukalapak. Not only online trading booths, Indonesia is also included in the list of physical markets supervised by the United States. And apart from that, several companies from China are also included in the list. For example, the Alibaba Group, Baidu Wangpan, Taobao, AliExpress, to the WeChat e-commerce ecosystem. IDX Channel reports.
Indonesia Central Statistics Agency, or BPS, stated that community mobility has greatly affected the rate of national economic growth amid pandemic. The BPS statement is based on data collected during COVID-19 pandemic.
Based on data collected during the COVID-19 pandemic, community mobility has greatly affected the rate of national economic growth. Head of Statistics Indonesia, or BPS, Margo Yuwono, has said. Meanwhile, Deputy Director of the Institute for Development of Economics and Finance, or INDEF, Eko Listianto, said that in the first quarter of 2022, the economy has the potential to weaken again due to the spread of the Omicron variant.
Yang ada di kita gitu ya. Nah, untuk tahun 2022 Q1 ya, kita belum bisa melihat, tetapi dengan menaiknya kasus COVID Omicron sekarang juga nanti tentu saja akan berpengaruh pada mobilitas dan tentu saja juga akan berpengaruh kepada kinerja ekonomi di triwulan 1 tahun 2022.
Eko added that if Omicron continues to spread and positive cases of COVID-19 increase, the government could potentially tighten the implementation of public activity restrictions, which will have an impact on community activities and economic growth in the first quarter. IDX Channel reports.
President Joko Widodo targets Indonesians to start switching to electronic motorcycle in 2025. The target is along with his optimism that Indonesia can produce 2 million electric motorcycles that year.
President Joko Widodo targets Indonesians to start switching to electric motorcycles in 2025. He believes that Indonesia can produce 2 million electric motorcycles that year. Jokowi wants Indonesia to become a producer of electric motorcycles. He believes Indonesia can export electric motorcycles after controlling the domestic market. Jokowi encourages state-owned enterprises to increase the production capacity of Gesit's electric motors. He suggested that SOEs cooperate with electric motor manufacturers from other countries, such as Gogoro from Taiwan, to improve product quality.
Untuk emisi karbon berada di angka 29%. Kemudian 2060 kita akan masuk ke emisi nol, net zero karbon. Oleh sebab itu, dengan didukung oleh ekosistem kendaraan listrik dari hulu sampai hilir, kita harapkan negara kita Indonesia nanti betul-betul mampu merajai menjadi produsen dari kendaraan listrik. Dan kita targetkan nanti di 2025, 2 juta kendaraan listrik bisa digunakan oleh masyarakat kita Indonesia, dan selanjutnya kita akan menuju ke pasar-pasar ekspor.
Jokowi appreciated the establishment of an electric vehicle ecosystem initiated by a number of companies. He hopes that the ecosystem will encourage people to immediately switch to electric vehicles. IDX Channel reports.
Moving on to global updates, U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a new sanctions package against Russia, calling Moscow's recognition. Meanwhile, the UK has announced a series of sanctions against Russia, with 5 banks have had their assets frozen. More stories on today's International Minute.
U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a new sanctions package against Russia, calling Moscow's recognition of 2 breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine as independent, the beginning of a Russian invasion of its neighbor. In a brief speech on Tuesday, Biden condemned his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin's decision to recognize the independence of Luhansk and Donetsk and to authorize the deployment of Russian troops to maintain peace in the regions. The UK has announced a series of sanctions against Russia after it ordered troops into 2 rebel-held regions of eastern Ukraine. 5 banks have had their assets frozen, along with the 3 Russian billionaires who will also be hit with UK travel bans. Boris Johnson said Russia's actions amounted to a renewed invasion and the sanctions were a first barrage. He stressed this could be extended but faced calls for tougher action now. Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk on Monday after recognizing them as independent. Russian President Vladimir Putin received no support from members of the UN Security Council at an emergency meeting Monday night for his actions to bring separatists in eastern Ukraine under Moscow's control. The US called his moves as a pretext for a further invasion. Many members condemned his violation of Ukraine's territorial integrity, and even close ally China urged diplomacy and a peaceful solution. All Hong Kong residents will have to undergo compulsory COVID-19 testing in March, the city's leader Carrie Lam announced Tuesday. Lam said that testing capacity will increase to 1 million per day, adding that since they have a population of some 7 million people, testing will take about 7 days. The government will provide at-home testing to residents so that they test themselves daily in between each compulsory test. Hong Kong is battling a coronavirus case surge, recording about 5,000 new cases per day. IDX Channel reports.
Subsidies for energy jumped to 10 trillion rupiah in January. Market headlines will be right back.
Jika Anda adalah investor saham, Anda mendapat keuntungan di antaranya capital gain, yaitu keuntungan dari selisih harga beli dan harga jual saham. Dividend, yaitu pembagian laba kepada pemegang saham. Keuntungan lainnya, investor bisa memperoleh pendapatan tambahan dengan meminjamkan sahamnya melalui layanan pinjam meminjam efek atau PME. Apa itu PME? PME merupakan pinjaman efek sementara berupa saham dari investor untuk keperluan penyelesaian transaksi bursa. Apa saja manfaat yang didapatkan? Investor memperoleh keuntungan. Investor tetap dapat menerima dana sebagai pengganti dividen jika ada pembagian dividen saat sahamnya sedang dipinjamkan. Pendapatan yang diterima investor dari layanan PME dapat digunakan untuk membayar biaya penyimpanan saham. Saat nilai saham turun, investor tetap dapat memperoleh pendapatan hingga mengurangi potensi kerugian. Dan yang terpenting, KPEI menjamin pengembalian saham yang dipinjamkan sesuai waktu yang telah ditentukan. Menarik bukan? Prosesnya sangat sederhana. Investor cukup menghubungi perusahaan sekuritas dan menandatangani formulir perjanjian PME. Selanjutnya, jika terdapat kebutuhan penyelesaian transaksi bursa oleh peminjam, saham yang akan dipinjamkan diserahkan kepada KPEI melalui perusahaan sekuritas. Setelah proses PME selesai, maka KPEI akan mengembalikan saham yang telah dipinjamkan dan memberikan pendapatan kepada investor melalui perusahaan sekuritas. Segera hubungi perusahaan sekuritas Anda, Customer Care KPEI, atau kunjungi website kami untuk mengetahui layanan PME. PME, pinjamkan sahamnya, dapatkan manfaatnya.
Welcome back. The government will disburse funds of 900 billion rupiah to support the Job Loss Guarantee or JKP program this year. Previously in 2021, 6 trillion rupiah has been poured to provide initial capital for BPJS Ketenagakerjaan in managing the Job Loss Guarantee Fund.
The Ministry of Finance revealed that the government will disburse funds of around 900 billion rupiah to support the Job Loss Guarantee or JKP program this year.
Untuk JKP, Program Jaminan Kehilangan Pekerjaan, ini ada 2 kontribusi pemerintah. Yang pertama dana awal, yang kedua bagian atau porsi dari kontribusi setiap tahun. Ini diperkirakan sekitar 900 miliar rupiah.
The budget is an annual fee provided by the government to launch the JKP program. The figure rose from 825 billion rupiah last year to now 900 billion rupiah. Not only that, the government has also poured a budget of 6 trillion rupiah to provide initial capital for BPJS Ketenagakerjaan in managing the Job Loss Guarantee Fund.
Awal itu di tahun lalu 6 triliun rupiah itu ditaruh di BPJS Ketenagakerjaan dengan tujuan supaya BPJS Ketenagakerjaan itu kemudian mengelola dana awal tersebut untuk melakukan pembayaran atas kalau ada pekerja kita mengalami kehilangan pekerjaan, dan juga tentu dikelola lebih lanjut bersama dengan iuran pemerintah.
Suhasil assessed that with the contributions given by the government every year, the funds could be revolved, and if workers lost their jobs, the funds could be used as collateral. IDX Channel reports.
Based on the results of monitoring from February 19 to 21, Ombudsman stated that the availability of cooking oil in a number of regions in Indonesia was still scarce. The institution that has the authority to oversee the implementation of public services noted that simple packaged cooking oil is difficult to find in various provinces. Based on the Ombudsman's monitoring, in general, simple packaged oil or cooking oil in the modern market has followed the highest retail price determined by the government, which is 13,500 rupiah per liter. However, it was also found that several modern markets in a number of provinces were selling above the highest retail price in the range of 15 to 16,000 rupiah per liter.
Masih terjadi pembatasan stok, artinya distributor membatasi dari ke agen, agen membatasi ke retail. Nah, hal yang terjadi, kenapa ini dibatasi? Nah, ini yang menarik. Apakah ini merupakan respon dari pengusaha, pelaku usaha yang membaca situasi arah kebijakan? Jangan-jangan paling jelas respon dari masyarakat itu karena di retail modern itu bisa diintervensi dengan harga yang relatif bisa dikendalikan sesuai dengan HET, tapi di satu sisi di pasar tradisional itu tidak bisa intervensi.
The Ministry of Finance noted that the realization of energy subsidies reached 10.2 trillion rupiah in January 2022. This figure jumped from January 2021, which was only 2.3 trillion rupiah. Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani said that the surge in subsidy distribution was influenced by the recent increase in energy prices. Subsidies are mainly distributed for fuel and 3 kilograms LPG. In addition to energy subsidies, the government distributed subsidies for fertilizers as much as 0.7 million tons as of January 2022. The amount is the same as period or compared to January 2021. Then the realization of People's Business Credit Subsidies, or KUR, amounted to 23.16 trillion rupiah as of January 2022. This amount is higher than January 2021, which was only 13.4 trillion rupiah.
Jadi tadi operasi APBN sangat nyata di dalam melindungi masyarakat, yaitu dari kenaikan harga energi yang melonjak sangat tinggi. Harga minyak tadi yang meningkat tinggi menyebabkan subsidi energi kita menjadi lebih besar, dan ini realisasi pembayaran subsidinya terutama untuk subsidi BBM dan LPG 3 kilo yang kita bayarkan kepada unit usahanya.
OJK claimed that the Indonesia Stock Exchange is ready to hold carbon trading. OJK says this is a form of the government's commitment to support the transition to a green economy.
Chairman of the Board of Commissioners of the Financial Services Authority, or OJK, Wimbo Santoso, claimed that the Indonesia Stock Exchange was ready to hold carbon trading. This is a form of the government's commitment to support the transition to a green economy.
Bahwa kita mempunyai komitmen penuh untuk mengembangkan ekonomi hijau ini sebagai sumber pertumbuhan ekonomi baru di masa mendatang. Kasih kredit kalau yang sulit mengurangi emisinya akan dikasih disinsentif dan diharuskan untuk membeli kredit dari orang lain yang mempunyai yang tadi sudah mengurangi zero emisinya.
Wimbo say that companies that can produce goods or services with low carbon emissions can have carbon credits that can be traded on the carbon exchange. However, if there are companies that cannot reduce carbon emissions in their production processes, then these companies are obliged to buy carbon credits on the carbon exchange. IDX Channel reports.
Indosat obtained 6 trillion rupiah net profit in 2021 after the break on market headlines.
Presidente della Repubblica di Indonesia.
Presidensi G20 di Indonesia akan mendorong upaya bersama untuk pemulihan ekonomi dunia dengan tema Recover Together, Recover Stronger. Kami akan menjamu Yang Mulia dan Bapak Ibu di hamparan pantai Bali yang indah, yang menginspirasi gagasan-gagasan inovatif untuk produktivitas G20 ke depan. Sampai bertemu di Indonesia, terima kasih.
Melalui Bursa Efek Indonesia adalah lompatan besar menuju transformasi pertumbuhan perusahaan. Bergabunglah dengan ratusan perusahaan yang telah berkembang pesat dengan Go Public. Go Public, lebih baik.
Perbincangan hangat tentang isu dan kebijakan ekonomi terkini yang diulas secara mendalam bersama narasumber terpercaya. Market Review, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 10 waktu Indonesia bagian Barat, hanya di IDX Channel.
Kewaspadaan terhadap penyebaran Omikron harus terus diperketat.
Ya, hal ini sebagai antisipasi dari masuknya virus varian lainnya ke Indonesia.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang. Simak pula analisa pasar modal dan inspirasi bisnis dari berbagai perusahaan rintisan. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, jam 8.30, hanya di IDX Channel. Welcome back at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI was open at a level of 6,917.74. Then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,885.78. Then the index was showing a strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,920.05. In short, JCI went up 0.85%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got infrastructure as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 2.05%. Technology went up 1.82%. Transportation and logistics went down 0.42%. And cyclical went down 0.29%. Moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. BBCA went up 1.9% to the level of 8,050 rupiah per share. BBRI went up 1.13% to the level of 4,480 rupiah per share. Telkom went up 1.16% to the level of 4,350 rupiah per share. And Adaro went up 4.04% to the level of 2,320 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Arto, went down 1.39% to the level of 15,950 rupiah per share. ADCP went down 6.15% to the level of 122 rupiah per share. And IATA went down 2.5% to the level of 195 rupiah per share. And FPNI went down 7% to the level of 452 rupiah per share. And we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level of 14,359. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar, was closed at the level of 14,314. In summary, Rupiah went down 0.03%. Indosat's financial performance in 2021 turned around to record a net profit of 6.75 trillion rupiah, whereas in the previous year, the company posted a net loss of 716 billion rupiah.
Indosat's financial performance throughout 2021 turned around to record a net profit of 6.75 trillion rupiah. Whereas the previous year, the company still recorded a net loss of 716.72 billion rupiah. Based on Indosat's financial reports, the company's positive performance last year was driven by an increase in total revenue to 31.39 trillion rupiah from 27.93 trillion in 2020. Even in the midst of the increase in the amount of revenue, Indosat was able to reduce its total expenses throughout 2021 to only 21.03 trillion from 25.5 trillion in 2020. Thus, the company's gross profit for the 2021 fiscal year became 10.53 trillion, or much higher than the previous year, which was only worth 2.4 trillion rupiah. In the period ending December 31st, Indosat posted a profit before income tax of 7.5 trillion, or a positive turnover from 2020, which still recorded a loss before income tax of 599.54 billion. With the total income tax expense in 2021, which was 646.85 billion, Indosat's profit for the year is recorded to be 6.86 trillion. IDX Channel reports.
Market Dynamics is optimistic that the performance in 2022 will continue to grow. The company targets net profit to grow by 30% year on year.
Supported by increasing product demand, Market Dynamics Indonesia is optimistic that the company's performance in 2022 will continue to grow. Although looking at the business this year with a positive attitude, the company sees that the business opportunities this year are actually not as big as in 2021. President Director of Market Dynamics Indonesia Ridwan Goh added that the company is aiming for a business growth of around 3% compared to the previous year, with a consolidated sales target of 1.6 trillion rupiah and a net profit of 500 billion rupiah. To maximize the pace of business throughout 2022, Ridwan said that the company will continue to focus on the efficiency of the production process that it has undertaken so far. Regarding the allocation of capital expenditure in 2022, according to him, the capital expenditure for this year's will be sourced from the company's internal cash. IDX Channel reports.
As cement demand continues to increase, Semen Batu Raja is optimistic that the company's production volume in 2022 will return to pre-pandemic levels. According to the corporate secretary of Semen Batu Raja, Dodi Irawan, the total production volume throughout last year was 1.96 million tons, a slight increase from the 2020 achievement of 1.93 million tons. The company's production volume in 2019 was 2.11 million tons. To achieve this figure, production growth this year must be at least 7.65%. Furthermore, demand growth driven by the government's budget allocation for infrastructure development will boost the company's production performance this year. Meanwhile, the challenge for the cement industry this year is still around oversupply, which causes competition between producers to be tighter. And the news closed our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening.